Hello! How's it going? Today, we're continuing the story of the Troll Wars, and then we're concluding it. Humans and elves are going to join forces and see if they can beat the trolls. So let's go! As the war between the trolls and the High Elves raged on, scouts reported back to King Thoradin in Strom to let him know things were looking a little bit nasty. But Thoradin remained stubborn in his belief that intervening would put his people at unnecessary risk. But then, some High Elf ambassadors sent by Anasterian Sunstrider arrived and told the king horrific tales of the Amani's brutality and the otherworldly demigods by their side, and Thoradin was like, "Oh, bugger tubs. Okay, we'll help." The threat was far greater than Thoradin or his advisors had realised, and the elves also kindly pointed out that once the trolls were done smashing Kul Tiras' back doors in, they'd likely turn their attention to Strom, and that's terrible. After this meeting, the humans themselves had a little brain trust. They knew they needed to join forces with the elves, but the problem was, Azeroth didn't really have the forces to make a huge difference. Through the night, they racked their brain for some fancy solution, and by morning, they felt really pleased with themselves, because they bloody cracked it. If the elves were to teach the humans magic, it might give them the edge they needed to make an impact in the war. Humans knew of elven magic, but they never learned its secrets. Thoradin himself was actually quite suspicious of magic, but he knew this was the best option, so he met the High Elves and informed them of this potential deal. This was communicated back to King Anasterian. He knew that unchecked magic was dangerous. Teaching the arcane arts to humans could easily lead to all manners of bad, stupid stuff happening. But his people were on the brink of extinction, so he really didn't have a choice. So he sent word that he agreed to the High Elves teaching 100 humans the rudimentary ways of magic. Elven mages journeyed to Strom and began their mentorship of humans. Elven magi? Who cares? Over many months, the tutors observed something remarkable. Humans were absolutely shite at magic. Nah, I'm kidding. Quite the opposite. Although they lacked grace and subtlety, often yelling things like Alakazam and Shia LaBeouf for no reason whilst casting, they possessed a startling natural affinity to magic. Meanwhile, Thoradin ordered his generals to establish a stronghold at the bottom of the Ultrak Mountains to act as a staging point for their future offensive. The elves finished tutoring the human magi, and it was now time to launch the offensive. 20,000 human soldiers gathered at Ultrak Fortress. Thoradin himself led the charge towards Kul Tiras. However, he left the 100 human magi behind at Ultrak, because he had a plan or something. Igneous and Lordain led the vanguard, riding days ahead of the advancing main host. They cleared the way north, straight up murdering any troll scouts or raiding parties they found. After weeks of marching, the full might of Azeroth's armies reached the outskirts of Kul Tiras and smashed into the southern flank of the Amani. As had been previously arranged, the High Elves launched a counterattack from the north and hit the trolls' front lines. The trolls now found themselves fighting a war on two fronts, but Jintha still felt pretty confident about the whole thing. The fact that the elves had joined forces with humans just proved how desperate they were. Humans might be fierce warriors, but it's not like they know magic or anything, right? What's next? Gnome druids? So Jintha ordered his forces south to take care of those bloody human buggers quickly, so they could then focus their attention back on Kul Tiras and exterminate the elves for good. Thoradin then ordered his peeps to begin a slow retreat back to Ultrak. The next few weeks were brutal, with the overconfident trolls chasing Azeroth's armies to the mountains. The High Elves also followed, marching from Kul Tiras to Ultrak, whittling down the trolls' rear guard. At one point, the Amani began gaining on the humans, threatening to flank and overwhelm them. To avert disaster, General Lordain and 500 of his bravest warriors volunteered to hold the Amani off in a narrow valley, whilst the Arathi continued their march south. Lordain and his warriors paid the ultimate price in this task, but his legacy of selflessness and sacrifice would live on amongst his people. Upon reaching Ultrak Fortress, Thoradin was pleased to see the Amani was still in pursuit. Battles raged on over the next few days whilst they waited for the High Elves to arrive, and when they did, the High Elves assailed the trolls on a second front. It was time to release the secret weapon. Alongside elven sorcerers, the 100 human magi emerged from the fortress and were like, "Surprise, fluffy mothers!" Instead of attacking the trolls individually, the magi did something unprecedented. They pulled their power and wove a single terrible spell. This spell burned troll and lower alike from the inside out. Among those to be consumed was Jintha.
Wait, he isn't dead! Shia LaBeouf!
Without their leader, the trolls broke ranks and tried to retreat, but the humans and elves hunted them like game, slaughtering every troll they could find. The Zandalari observed this and were ever so slightly disappointed. They skulked back to their island home in disbelief and shame. It would be a long time before the trolls would be able to recover from this embarrassment. But for Kul Tiras and Azeroth, this had been bloody brilliant. Celebrations graced the streets of both Strom and Silvermoon City. The elves pledged their undying loyalty to Azeroth and to Thoradin and his descendants. And we're leaving it there! That was bloody epic, wasn't it? That's twice now that the trolls have started a war only to have to run away at the end. Is it weird that I still kind of feel sorry for them? In the next video, we'll be seeing the expansion of Azeroth, the Council of Tirisfal, and the introduction of the first Guardian. So if you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed and come back on Tuesday. If you enjoyed this video, press the like button, talk to me in the comments, and all that's left to say is, thanks very much for watching, and see ya!